Every time you see that happen, you're saving 25,000 American lives. Every one of those boats that gets knocked out, 25,000 American lives.
If Donald Trump can kill drug traffickers, can I? It sounds extreme, but the question cuts deep into law, power, and morality at sea. Tonight, we explore what's really happening in the South American waters, why the U.S. military is firing missiles at drug boats, and what that means for every one of us. The story begins off the coast of Venezuela. A small vessel carrying maybe smugglers, maybe fishermen. U.S. surveillance spots it. Moments later, a strike. 11 people dead. Washington says they were part of the Tren de Aragua cartel. Families say they were just trying to fish.
Boat have narcotics on it. Where's the narcotics? We want evidence, we want proof.
And the world asks, who decides who lives and who dies? The U.S. calls it deterrence, a war against narco-terrorists. But others call it something else, extrajudicial killing, a show of force that blurs the line between justice and vengeance. Can killing drug traffickers be lawful? Let's dive in. Under U.S. law, the Coast Guard can seize, board, and arrest traffickers under the Maritime Drug Law Enforcement Act. But that's law enforcement, not war. Using missiles instead of handcuffs raises the question: what law covers the battlefield of the Caribbean Sea? Under international law, the rules are clear. Force is legal only in self-defense, or with authorization from the United Nations. Drug trafficking alone doesn't make an armed conflict. It's crime, brutal, profitable, destructive, but crime, not war. So when missiles hit a small boat, the legal foundation starts to crumble. Still, there are those who say yes, this is justified. The traffickers make billions. They smuggle cocaine, heroin, fentanyl. They kill thousands indirectly through addiction and violence. And if you can stop them before they reach the shore, maybe you save lives. Maybe you protect a nation. Maybe lethal deterrence works. That's the argument from power. It says, if we hit them hard enough, they'll fear us more than they crave profit. It says, when governments like Venezuela can't or won't act, someone must. It says, these aren't just criminals. They're terrorists, destabilizing whole countries. And if they hide at sea, then the sea itself becomes a battlefield. But then there's the other side, the voice of law, ethics, and caution. Killing without trial isn't justice. It's execution without evidence. And once a superpower decides that suspicion equals guilt, who's safe? Who checks the facts when the evidence sinks to the bottom of the ocean? Every strike risks civilians, fishermen, migrants, or anyone in the wrong boat at the wrong time. And what happens when other nations copy the same playbook? When every leader decides they can bomb criminals wherever they hide? That's not law. That's chaos. Legal experts warn this sets a dangerous precedent. It expands the concept of war to cover anything the government dislikes. Today, it's drug traffickers. Tomorrow, hackers, smugglers, or protesters. Once the line blurs, it's almost impossible to redraw. So, let's ask again. If Donald Trump can kill drug traffickers, can I? Number: you can't. And that's the point. Because he's acting as the head of a state, claiming authority under laws that themselves are contested. If you or I did it, it would be murder. And that exposes the uncomfortable truth. Legality depends on who holds the power. But beyond legality, what about morality? If a strike saves lives, is it worth it? Or does it cost us something greater? Our belief in justice itself. That's the paradox of the modern war on drugs. We fight crime with tools of war. We seek safety by normalizing violence. And every time, the circle tightens. Meanwhile, the sea remains a theater of shadows. Cartels use go-fast boats, submersibles, fishing trawlers. They adapt faster than laws can catch up. When one route closes, another opens. Every strike that destroys a boat might disrupt one shipment, but the global trade continues. Cocaine still flows. Addiction still spreads. Violence still claims lives from Caracas to Chicago. So what's the real solution? Not missiles, not politics, but systems, cooperation, intelligence, accountability, and addressing the demand that fuels the trade are essential. Otherwise, we're just shooting at reflections on the water. In the coming months, watch the map. More strikes may follow. Congress may ask questions. Human rights groups will demand answers. And every nation in the region will decide whether to stand with force or with law. Because this isn't just about one man or one strike. It's about the kind of world we're willing to accept. Do we want a world where might makes right, or one where justice still has a voice? So, can I kill drug traffickers? Number. But I can question those who do. I can demand transparency. I can choose to believe that law is stronger than fear. Just maybe, that's the only power that lasts. If you found this story thought-provoking, share it. Subscribe for more deep dives into law, power, and the shifting seas of geopolitics. Until next time, stay curious. And remember, the ocean hides many things, but truth always floats to the surface.